In 1934, a one-of-a-kind custom car was built inside a Ford aircraft factory. It was not designed for racing. It was not built for the public. It was built for one man, the son of Henry Ford. No two people outside of Ford Motor Company had ever seen it. This is the 1934 Edsel Ford Model 40 Special Speedster. Edsel Bryant Ford was the president of Ford Motor Company. In 1932, he traveled to Europe and saw the low, sleek sports cars being built on the continent. When he returned, he tasked his chief designer, Eugene T. Bob Gregorie, with building a personal sports car inspired by what he had seen. Gregorie sketched multiple designs, built a scale model, and tested it in a wind tunnel inside Ford's aviation airframe building in Dearborn, Michigan. By 1934, the Model 40 Special Speedster was complete, one car built entirely by hand for Edsel Ford's personal use. The first thing you notice about this car is how low it sits. The body is long, narrow, and extremely close to the ground. The tail tapers to a rounded point, a shape known as a boat tail. There are no doors in the traditional sense. Instead, the door openings are cut down very low, almost flush with the body sides. The front of the car features a sharp V-shaped grille. Louvers along the hood are angled to match the rake of the windscreen, giving the entire front section a unified, intentional look. The fenders are narrow, cycle-type wings. They wrap around just the top of each wheel, not the full body. These were fabricated by Ford's own aircraft workers, shaped in a style similar to the wheel pants used on Ford's tri-motor aircraft. The front fenders are mounted so they turn with the wheels when the car steers. The wire wheels are fitted with custom disc covers that give them a smooth, unbroken surface. The entire body is made of hand-formed aluminum. There is no steel sheet metal. The aluminum panels are mounted over a custom-welded tubular aluminum frame, a method taken directly from aircraft construction. The car was painted Pearl Essence Gunmetal Dark, a deep, dark gray that Edsel personally favored. Inside, the seats are custom bucket seats upholstered in complementary gray leather. The instrument panel is engine-turned, a machining pattern that creates a repeating circular design across the metal surface. The steering wheel is a 3-spoke unit, simple and functional. Later, around 1940, the instrument panel was updated to include a 160-mile-per-hour racing-type speedometer and matching Stewart-Weiner gauges. The original engine fitted to the Speedster was a Ford Flathead V8, displacing 221 cubic inches and producing 75 horsepower. This was the standard Model 40 engine of the period. The exhaust system was modified. The exhaust pipes ran straight through sections of the frame itself, not around the frame, but through it. This was an unconventional routing that contributed to the car's extremely clean exterior appearance. In the winter of 1939 to 1940, the car was stored in an unheated shed on Edsel's estate. The cold cracked the engine block. A replacement engine was installed, a 1940 Mercury V8 displacing 239 cubic inches and producing 100 horsepower. This was the most powerful version of the Ford Flathead V8 available at that time. The transmission was a standard Ford 3-speed manual unit. The Speedster is driven like a traditional open Roadster, but in a much lower position than any standard Ford of its era. The driver sits in a custom bucket seat positioned toward the rear of the vehicle. This placement pushes the long hood forward, visually lengthening the vehicle. The cockpit is small and snug, with the low-cut door openings sitting just a few inches above the rocker panels. Steering is direct, connected to the front Kelsey Hayes wire wheels. Because the cycle fenders turn with the wheels, the driver can see the front tires move as the car corners. This gives an immediate visual reference for steering inputs. The 3-speed manual transmission is operated with a floor-mounted gear shift. Power goes through the standard Ford driveline to the rear wheels. With only 2 seats and a lightweight aluminum body, the car is responsive and quick to change direction, more like a sports car than the family vehicles Ford was producing at the time. The most important engineering feature of this car is what Gregorie did to the chassis. A standard 1934 Ford frame sits high at the rear. The rear axle passes underneath the frame rails in the stock configuration. Gregorie reversed that relationship entirely. He flipped the rear frame section upside down and re-welded it so that the frame rails passed under the rear axle instead. This single modification dropped the rear of the car by 6 inches compared to a standard Ford. He also moved the front axle forward by 10 inches. Combined with relocating the driver's cockpit toward the rear of the car and extending the tail section, the Speedster achieved its dramatically low, stretched appearance. The wheelbase is 113 inches, nearly identical to a standard 1934 Ford Roadster at 112 inches. But because of the chassis work and body positioning, the car looks significantly longer and lower than it actually measures. Gregorie reportedly tested these chassis modifications himself by driving a bare, bodiless chassis mule on back roads before the body was fitted. This level of chassis engineering, specifically redesigned for a single personal vehicle, was not common practice at any American automaker in 1934. The Speedster was built purely as a personal vehicle for Edsel Ford. It was not a prototype for a production car. It was not an engineering test mule. It was built for Edsel to drive for his own enjoyment. Edsel did consider whether a limited production version might be possible. He had asked Gregorie to design it with that potential in mind, but the level of custom fabrication required, the modified chassis, the hand-formed aluminum body, the aircraft division construction techniques, made any serious production plan unrealistic given the time and resources it would have required. As a driver's car, the Speedster was well suited to the roads of the 1930s. It was light, low, and powered by the most capable Ford engine available. At around 2,100 pounds, with 100 horsepower from the Mercury V8, the power-to-weight ratio was competitive for the era. Its design, particularly the low stance and long proportions, anticipated the direction American sports cars and custom builders would take in the years that followed. Edsel Ford died in 1943 at the age of 49. After his death, the Speedster passed through several private owners over the following decades. Its history during those years became unclear, and the car went largely untracked for a long period. Bill Warner, founder of the Amelia Island Concours of Delegates in Florida, read an article that mentioned the car was owned by a Florida resident. He tracked it down and purchased it. Will Warner later sold the Speedster to Texas collector John O'Quinn. After O'Quinn died in 2009, Edsel Ford III, Edsel's grandson, arranged for the car to be purchased and returned to the Ford family. In August 2010, the Speedster was fully restored by RM Auto Restoration in Blenheim, Ontario, Canada. The restoration brought the car back to its 1940 configuration, reflecting the final design updates Edsel and Gregorie had made before his death. In August 2011, 74 years after it was built, the restored Speedster was unveiled at the Pebble Beach Concours of Delegates in California. The car now resides in the collection of the Edsel and Eleanor Ford House Museum in Grosse Pointe Shores, Michigan. Historians and automotive designers point to the Model 40 Special Speedster as a car that was years ahead of American production design. Its aluminum body construction, its aircraft-derived fabrication techniques, and its dramatically modified chassis directly anticipated the custom car movement that would emerge in California in the late 1940s and early 1950s. Edsel Ford III said of the car, "My grandfather was an early believer that everyday objects, including automobiles, could be seen as works of art. The 1934 Edsel Ford Model 40 Special Speedster is a one-of-a-kind vehicle built for one man, using techniques that were decades ahead of mainstream American automotive manufacturing. It was never meant for the public. It was never meant for production. It was built because one person had a clear vision of what a car could look like and had the resources to make it real. 90 years later, it still looks like nothing else from its time. If you want to see more deep dive videos on rare and historically significant vehicles, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one.